guys. So for this week's discussion, I decided to put on my teacher pants. And so naturally that led me over to Jonathan Edwards' letter to Sir William Pepperell. It was one of our readings for this week. And that reading essentially criticized the rote learning techniques that were being employed by schools, particularly where Native American children were concerned. And let me just give a disclaimer and say that I was not a fan of the way that he described Native Americans as savages and talked about, lack of language and a lack of culture, what have you. However, if we're just looking at his criticism of rote learning, he has very valid points. And so I'm going to separate the two here. The sources I found that could possibly enhance a presentation on early American history were the Child's Companion, which is basically a spelling book that has words, it has phonics, it's got reading passages, and it's really designed, again, to teach students how to read. However, the educational techniques, again, are very rote in nature instead of being engaging. And so what I could do is host a professional development session for new and veteran teachers to highlight the evolution of teaching practice, because that's always important to understand where teaching is started and where it's going. And then two, show teachers what not to do when teaching, because I think sometimes we get so wrapped up in, okay, I know this information, this isn't hard to understand, I know how I learn, but students may need to learn a different way. And so again, we can look at early criticisms of these rote methods of learning and see how early educational theories began to change what we know as teaching practices today. And so as you go through the book, if you get a chance to look at the sources, you'll see that it's straight to the point. However, there's no room for students to question any of the material. There are no discussion points. It is it doesn't have much in it. Even if you compare it to a regular textbook, at least you'll find a little piece on the side that says, okay, discuss this, or think critically about this, or write this. And this book contains none of it. In terms of the literary competencies, it technically does teach a student how to read, because they can recite the words. However, there's no reading comprehension element, which was one of Jonathan Edwards' criticisms. They could technically listen to one another if they read the passages out loud. The same goes for speaking. If they practice their phonics, those competencies would be semi-satisfied. The one component that's definitely missing is writing. There's nowhere for students to answer questions or engage with the material. And so again, I could use this and have teachers try to learn from this and conduct a survey and ask them, okay, what'd you think of the material? Did you learn anything? What stuck out to you? And I bet all of them would say, I didn't retain much because there was no way for me to engage in the material. And then I would go into how that, was essentially the educational model in America during its early days. And I actually plan on using this during a professional development session, so I will get back to you all and let you know how it went.